All right, Bry. Is Steph going to play this season or not, in your opinion?
Damn, it's just like that, right to the point. I have no
Right.
clue, man. I have no clue, man. I would have thought yes. I would if you asked me a week ago, I would have thought yes. If you asked me today, now I'm a little more unsure. I know Chris Stapps had a 30-point game last week, and so maybe there's a chance they can have some upsets and some play-ins, but you don't want to bring him back if it's getting near the play-in and it's just like his first game action is going to be like playing basketball. You want to be able to like ramp him up for a week. So I feel like, we'll know within the next week or so if he's going to play another game because I don't think they would want to uh kind of bring him in that close to the play-in. And there's only 12 to 15 games left.
I will give you the number of games left. They play the Celtics, the Pistons, the Hawks, the Mavericks, the Nets, the Wizards, that's 6, the Nuggets, the Spurs, the Cavs, the Rockets, Kings, Lakers, Kings, Clippers. So 14
14.
games left in the season. And there is some discussion about when he may possibly be back. They are currently on a road trip that ends in Dallas on the 23rd. So that is 6 days from as we are recording this. They are home again a week from today, and that will be against the Nets. There's some talk that could be a target date, but if that is the target date, he misses the next 4 games at least. There is also a discussion that the Spurs game, which is April 1st, also April Fools, Spurs at Warriors. That'd be a tough one for him to come back. He's got to worry about Wemby, his arms all over the place. And then if he's back then he would have 7 games before the play-in.
That's
Now,
enough. I think you need at least 3 to 4.
okay, so the current standings in the West look like this. So the Warriors are right now in the 9th spot, a half of a game ahead of Portland. Now, there is 0 chance that they will get out of the 10. So if the play-in games are 7, 8, 9, and 10, the Warriors are going to be in one of those play-in spots. It's just depending on whether or not Portland jumps them. The Clippers are only a game ahead of them, so it's not like that is impossible to get to the 8th spot, which is if Steph is healthier sooner than later, that could be realistic because I think Kawhi is hurt again. But yeah, they're going to be in this playoff game, so whether I think Joe Lacob would rather them be a home game, so they at least get some money for that game. I'm going to predict that Steph is going to be back. I kind of agree with that April 1st timeframe, though. If I'm Steph, I'm like, maybe I'll come back after that Wemby game, just to make my life a little bit easier.
Well, do you think he's good or do you think this is being precautionary? Like they're kind of like we don't have a chance, so we're just doing the thing that some of the other teams do is we're giving you just longer time to recover because there's no rush to bring you back. Or do you think, the runner's knee thing or whatever's going on with him, it's like if he needs more time?
I think the fact that they started him and then they had to stop him probably gave them pause. Like if it was like a normal thing, like, okay, here's the injury, here's the rehab, here's the timeline, everything falls into place, he's back. Then I think that's fine, no matter how long it would take. I think the fact that they did all of that and it was still like, wait a second here, we had a setback. I think that scares them and probably him more than anything else, right? If his goal is to play into his 40s, he doesn't want to push it at the end of this season, in a season in which they pretty much have 0 chance of getting, deep into the playoffs, and it could affect the end of his career. So I think it's both. It's both of them. It's him and the team, and they know that about him too because he is. I mean, think about what this season has been for us as Warriors fans. I don't know when you can remember where you were kind of watching most of the games, what year that was, but it all starts with him. And so the fact that he's missed a lot of these games it's kind of deflating as a fan because the instinct, and we mentioned it at the beginning of this year, the instinct is Steph's playing. He's still great. It is the end. It is the later part of his career, and we want to watch as much Steph as we can before he leaves. The fact that he's not playing makes the team kind of unwatchable. So that is really the big thing here is when he's back, then the league and I'm sure the Warriors team are like, okay, now we're kind of back. But until then, how much better are they than some of these tanking teams right now? They're not that much better.
No, they could arguably be worse than a lot of these teams too, just with the talent that they have on the floor. So we will see.
Out of the guys who are getting some run, I think it's good for Gee. It's kind of good and bad for Pods because when Pods is good, you're like, okay, this is what we expect you to be. And then when he's bad, we're like, ugh, we wish we could take you out of this game, but we can't because there's nobody better. It's good for Melton, but I do wonder if it makes him a little harder to bring back salary wise because it's been so good for him. And then I guess it's good for Porzingis because he's able to get some games under his belt to where the Warriors do want to win, but it's not like the fan base is like, okay, you're the person who we brought in and we're losing these games because the fans don't expect them to win right now without Steph and without Jimmy, by the way. So I think in some senses the end of this little season here, which has been pretty bad for fans, there are some things that you can learn about this team, but otherwise it's like what we have learned is it's going to be painful when Steph is retired.
Yeah. I'm interested on what that Pods rookie extension negotiation is going to look like this summer because I feel like everything we've heard from him, I feel like he hasn't been saying much, which is probably good for him based on what we heard in like the beginning of the season. Is just like what's reported, right? Just like him exuding confidence. I just wonder like when that hits rookie extension negotiation, like just based on what I feel like we've heard from him is that he's going to request a lot, is that he's going to want more. And to me, I'm like, you got to get paid at Moody's number or less. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think it'll be easy for the Warriors if he tries to do like, I mean, of course he's got an agent, but if they try to push for anything more than that, I feel like it's just so easy for them to be like, all right, we'll take this to restricted free agency. Like you're not good enough to warrant that. And like, even if this does hit restricted free agency, like I feel like Warriors fans are so out on that guy right now that it just would not be the same situation as the Kuminga thing, where it's just like, we're cool if you want to sign another offer sheet somewhere else.
Well, even like we could, I think it's realistic to say that Pajemski has been a better player than Kuminga was, at least consistently. It's not arguable. It's not super better. It's arguably better, but the fan base does not treat him as better than Kuminga because they just saw the promise in Kuminga. But
Yeah,
well, we'll have
Kuminga had potential. So
yeah.